This is the very first adventure that I've been able to film since Hurricane Helene came through the area. It feels so good to be out, everyone. After 2 weeks of chaos, there's a little bit of normalcy coming back into my life. Man, oh man, or woman, it sure is nice to be here at Lone Wolf Mountain, my piece of paradise here in western North Carolina. The only damage that was sustained here at Lone Wolf Mountain was some downed trees. The only downed tree that I really have to worry about was up at the top, and for the most part I've cut it up. I'll show it to you later. I've begun working on it, but I need to come along to finish it up. That big tree limb up at the top of the mountain there is the only damage that was done here at Lone Wolf Mountain. I'm so incredibly lucky. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the entire area surrounding me here. All of the roads coming in here are compromised or just completely washed out and destroyed. Most of the roads are one lane. Sometimes it was a mudslide from above that took out the road, or the road itself gave away, or it was too close to a creek and the creek washed it away. It's unbelievable the damage that's been done out here. And yet, Lone Wolf Mountain is absolutely fine. It really is amazing that there's no rutting on this driveway, on this road at all. And this road here is half a mile long. There's no rutting, all of my ditches held, all the culverts did their job. And the simple fact is that I got lucky, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Anyways, everyone, this is an overnight adventure here at Lone Wolf Mountain. You may be wondering, why are we here at Lone Wolf Mountain? Well, the reason is twofold. Reason number one is that this is my most favorite place of all time. This is my favorite place in the entire universe. I love Lone Wolf Mountain. Reason number two is rather unfortunate. All of the national parks, national forests, wilderness areas, everything is closed. Every single place has experienced extreme damage. And there's still places here in western North Carolina, going into Tennessee, going into Virginia, that are extremely isolated. Some of these communities are no longer connected. For an example, here in western North Carolina, we can no longer go to Tennessee because the main route was destroyed. The main route that I would take to go into Virginia for like Damascus or something like that, destroyed, just completely wiped out. Those are two very solid reasons why Lone Wolf Mountain is the choice for this adventure. Plus, I really don't want to cruise the roads looking for anything right now. There's just so much going on. I don't want to be a hindrance. I want to stay off the roads as much as possible. Because of that, we're here at Lone Wolf Mountain, and more than likely, the next handful of adventures will be here at Lone Wolf Mountain. I'll do more talking and sharing about the storm, the damage, and so on later on. For now, let's go ahead and let's get our camp set up. We have some work to do. Right, what I've done here is I've taken a couple of limbs and I've made a forest rake. That way I can clean up all of the leaves from the ground here, so I have a nice place basically for my camp. Something that you need to consider, everyone, is that bugs use leaves as insulation. So we're talking about spiders, we're talking about ticks, and so on. Because of that, in the fall and the winter when you set up a campsite, you need to make sure to clean out all of the debris. It's all about just personal safety more than anything else. I should mention this, everybody, if you're in a location that has copperheads, cleaning up the leaves is a smart idea because copperheads could blend right in with those leaves. Luckily, we don't have copperheads in this section of North Carolina. Nonetheless, it's a smart idea to clean up your campsite as far as the leaves and the debris goes. So I got this cleared up. Now I'm ready to set up the rest of the campsite. As far as my camp kitchen goes, I basically have everything set up. Now I'm going to focus on the inside of the vehicle and get everything ready there. The name of the game when it comes to this adventure is simplicity. There is going to be absolutely nothing fancy about this trip. It's all about simplicity, folks. I'm sure you're accustomed to seeing elaborate setups all over YouTube. While those type of setups are really cool, most people can't relate to that. That's not how most people camp. That is YouTube camping, not real world camping. And I'm guilty of that too. I've done some pretty elaborate setups too. I'm not being salty or anything like that. I'm just being real. So with this setup here, everything is going to be nice and easy. Very, very simple. That right there is a very basic setup. We have a mattress, a blanket on top of that, a sleeping bag, a pillow, and I also got out the Covia heater. Why did I get that out? Well, that's because by morning it will be 37 degrees Fahrenheit. In fact, we have a frost warning in place. Fall has arrived here in the mountains, everybody. And get this, next Tuesday, snow flurries. Oh yeah, the time has come. Winter is upon us. Hopefully we'll have a good winter. We shall see. Who knows what's going to happen, but hopefully so. It has been a long time since I've had to pull this thing out. This is the WeBoost, and this is a cell phone booster. With the hurricane coming through, it took out the tower that was the closest to this mountain, and my service here has basically been unusable. I can send text messages, and that's it. So what I'm going to do here is load up my browser, and let's see if this actually works. Oh snap, did it work? Oh, oh yes. This is actually working, everybody. This is awesome. Let's try some more sites here real quick. Wow, this works so good, everybody. It really does. Again, everybody, I've had enough signal to send text messages, but that's it. I could not access any sort of data. But with the WeBoost, I now can. That's really, really nice. Yeah, it looks like everything's loading up really, really good here. Awesome. This is something that I haven't used in a long time. Anytime that Susie and I, we go overlanding and stuff like that, we'll get it out, we'll take it with us. This kit really is meant to like mount to your vehicle, but we've never done that. We just set it up temporarily, we stand up the antenna. Of course, with this antenna system, the higher up that you can get it, the better off you'll be, the more signal that it'll grab and boost. The thing is about this, it's not magic. If there's not a signal there to boost, there's nothing to boost. You know what I mean? So you have to have that signal, even if it's a faint one, you have to have it. So luckily here at Lone Wolf Mountain, the signal is strong enough, even though it's faint, I now have data and I can surf the internet. Woohoo! That means I can watch a terrible movie later on tonight. And folks, I'm so excited. I have not been able to watch YouTube or movies or anything like that since the storm hit. And that's because we do not have internet at the house. Not until this morning. This morning I raced out to Verizon Wireless and I picked up one of their home internet kits. And folks, I set it up, it was super simple, and it works incredibly well. So far, I had enough time before I left on this trip to upload one video to YouTube, and it was working perfectly, and it was surprisingly fast. We got our power on 2 days after the storm. We also had water. It took a while for it to be drinkable water, and it took a while for hot water. All of that has been sorted out. I talked about that in After the Storm video concerning Hurricane Helene. I mentioned in that episode that we did not have internet, and that's because all of the cables are down all across the county. A few days ago, I ordered a Starlink system, which is stuck in like FedEx delivery hell somewhere. For some reason, FedEx is not delivering in my area, but UPS is. So apparently the Starlink was sent FedEx and now it's stuck who knows where and who knows when it's going to arrive. My only other option was this Verizon Wireless home internet. And luckily, so far, it looks like it's working really well. It's really quick so far. And the price is pretty low. It's only like $45 a month, which is a whole lot less expensive than the Spectrum internet that I had before. I did a quick speed test and it was rocking about 400 megabytes per second, which is not bad at all. So I have internet here now. I have internet at home. That means the videos can be uploaded. Like I said before, things are going back to normal, everyone, and I'm so incredibly thankful. I feel bad being able to go back to somewhat of a normal life when so many people cannot. So many communities destroyed, so many lives lost. I mean, for a lot of people, life will never be the same for them again. And yeah, that's a tough thing to, you know, how do I say that? That's a tough thing to acknowledge, I guess. I'm not really sure what the right word is, but it is. I definitely have it good, and I know it. We all do, right? Cheers to having it good. This here is the tree that came down, or I should say the limb that came down. Basically, the top of this tree was really, really large and it just split in half. When it split, it fell down like this and its butt was still up in the air, still up in this tree. Now I've cut it back as far as I could safely, but to finish this up, I need to come along. I need to attach to the tree and attach to this tree here and pull this thing down. I could have continued cutting on it, notching it, letting it drop, but it's really at the point now where it would be dangerous. So a come along is going to make easy work out of this, and it's going to be safe. That, my friends, is all of the damage that was done here at Lone Wolf Mountain. I could barely get here, but as far as damage goes, that's it. The storm did remove most of the leaves from the trees here. A lot of the trees are bald already. There's not going to be a leaf season up here in the mountains this year. Nope. I just got done gathering a whole bunch of firewood. My plan is, without a doubt, to have a fire tonight. And I'm going to have this fire just right here in the middle of the road. I own this mountain so I can have a fire anywhere I want to, and that's where I want it. When I was gathering all that firewood, I came across this. Do you all happen to know what this is from? I'll give you a hint. Turkey or red-tailed hawk? Which one is it? Comment down below. this is a turkey feather. Likely from the herd of turkeys that live here on this mountain. You all saw them in the previous overnight adventure. That was something else, wasn't it? The storm was ending, it was still raining though, and I saw something at the edge of the road there pop up. It was a head, a turkey head, and then there was another one, and another one. So I stood completely still, and I don't remember how many there was, like 20 something of them. They walked all the way up into my camp and then into the woods. That is just one reason why I love Lone Wolf Mountain. I have watched those turkeys grow up. I mean, a few months ago they were babies, and now they're almost fully grown. Dinner is going to be awesome tonight. What we're having is Korean barbecue noodles with sockeye salmon, and I'm going to throw in some broccoli for good measure. As you all can tell, I changed out of the shorts and I put my pants on, and that's because it is getting chilly. We're down here in this hollow here, so we have all of that cold air sinking. Hot air rises, cold air sinks, and it is sinking right now. I can actually feel it coming down the driveway. It is quite chilly for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, this is incredible. Again, we have Korean barbecue noodles with some sockeye salmon, smoked, and some broccoli. It is really, really good. Thank you to all of the viewers who made this possible. Greg, he sent in the noodles, and unfortunately, I can't think of who sent in the salmon. But no matter what, thank you to everyone. I really do appreciate you all. An additional thank you goes out to everyone who reached out to Susie and I during our time of need. We really do appreciate it. We had people writing in offering everything that you can imagine. Some were willing to shovel, some had machinery to bring, some wanted to bring supplies. Everyone, thank you so much for everything. Susie and I really do appreciate it, big time. And I could speak for everyone up here in the mountains. Thank you so much for your generosity, your support. It is all greatly appreciated. Because the power was out for most of the mountains and also water, we had a lot of people writing in who were offering to purchase and send here into the mountains backpacking water filters. That way people can use them to get water to drink and so on. Unfortunately, during a scenario like this, those type of water filters are not adequate. That's because during a flood situation like this, you're filtering out more than bacteria and viruses and so on. You have to filter out heavy metals and toxic chemicals. We're talking about septic tanks, we're talking about cattle fields, we're talking about insecticides and fertilizers and fuel and oil and all sorts of stuff. That's why you can't use a water filter for backpacking purposes for that type of filtration. It simply does not work. It's not adequate enough. With that being said though, I really do want to thank you all so much for your generosity and everything that was offered. You all are the best. I posted a video a few days ago where I discussed and went over what took place during the hurricane. And basically, to make a long story short, the storm came in during the middle of the night. So my father and I, we fought that storm all the way to roughly 10 a.m., something like that, 11 a.m. That's when the storm moved out of the area. If you haven't seen that episode, you may want to check it out. I show a ton of pictures and so on, and basically go over every single thing that happened as it happened. So I'm not really going to go over all of that again. I don't want to waste your time or anything. I will add to the story just a little bit. There was a moment before everything went to hell, before the flood just really took over, that I knew things were about to get bad. I experienced an ominous moment while I was trying to clear out a culvert. So I was up at my dad's house, I was working on this culvert, getting it cleared out, and it was right before like all of the trees washed down the mountain and diverted the creek. So I'm working and I hear something and I look over, and this groundhog comes running down from the hill, and he runs right to my shoes and like looks up at me. I'm looking down at him. We just stared at each other, and it felt like it lasted like 5 to 10 minutes, even though it was just a fraction of a second. But that groundhog ran all the way over to my boots, stared up at me, and then took off into the woods on the other side of the creek, going up in the hills. It was at that moment I just had this feeling, you know, like he knew something or she knew something that I didn't. It's almost like it was getting out of Dodge, getting out of the area. And, you know, maybe 10, 15 minutes later, like those trees came washing down the mountain. They burst out on top of the road, diverted the creek, and it was over with. It was done. There was nothing else we could do. But that was an interesting moment. I'll never forget that. It was a weird moment too. Just in case you don't know what a groundhog is, some people will call them woodchucks. They are very similar to like marmots. They're part of the squirrel family, except they're huge and fat. And they like to have their homes in these holes in the ground. Farmers hate them. Personally, I think they're pretty cool. Up at my dad's house, above my dad's house, there was always groundhogs up there. And I want to say a few years back, I was going up there to do something or other, and I saw a groundhog, and he was just all gray. That was pretty cool. I don't think he's still alive. I haven't seen him in a long time. In general, groundhogs do not live very long because of predators. I think on average they live about 3 years. In rare instances, they've been known to live like 15 years. And that one definitely lived a long time. He was nice and gray the last time I saw him. I tell you, the amount of cold air that is seeping down the mountain here, it is incredible. It is quite chilly, folks. I'm not sure exactly what the temperature is, like upper 40s, something like that. It's cold enough for me to put on a thicker jacket, and I tell you, I'm ready for a fire. Without a doubt, I'm ready. I tell you what, I'm going to finish up dinner, and as soon as I wrap this up, we'll get the fire going. As it stands right now, everyone, it's getting late. It's already a little bit after 8 p.m. At the same time, it is chilly. So let's go ahead, let's get the fire going, and let's see if I did a good job of building that fire. Let's see if this is a one-match fire. If I build it correctly, it will be. Oh yeah, everyone, this fire is taking off. It's nice and chilly. And now, this is feeling good. It's amazing how wet this stuff still is, though. Even though the hurricane came in over 2 weeks ago, and it hasn't rained since then, this stuff is still wet. Hell, everything is still wet. I shouldn't laugh, but it's almost comical, really. It's interesting, because there's so much moisture in the soil right now, the soil is incredibly unstable. In fact, we're still having landslides and mudslides. So the soil filled full of moisture. Now it's being pulled out because it's so dry. Last night there was a landslide in this area. I mean, the entire mountainside gave away, and the road is going to be closed for months and months. Coyotes. We are surrounded at the moment. There's a pack behind us, and there's another pack over there somewhere down off of the mountain here. Oh man, it is so good to be back here at Lone Wolf Mountain listening to the coyotes. It's been a crazy last couple of weeks, and I'll be honest, this is exactly what I need right now. I just need like one day just to do a quick trip before getting back to it. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna get up early, head out of here. I have more shoveling to do, more rock carrying to do. We're pretty much in cleanup mode now. I wish I could show you all more of my area and the house and stuff, but for privacy purposes I can't, and I'm sure you all understand that. Up until a few days ago, people driving by, they were in shock and awe at what the place looked like. I would be outside working around the house, and somebody would drive by and they'd be like, oh my God. They would ask us if we needed anything. I don't know how many people I said this to, but I said, you know, it looks awful, but like, we're okay. I mean, the entire landscape completely altered. Just rocks and boulders and trees and mud everywhere. That's what my house looks like. That's what my neighborhood looks like. That's what everything looks like. But things are improving greatly. I've been helping my neighbors, they've been helping me, and we're getting everything under control. Next week, dirt, gravel coming to the house. And everything's gonna be okay, you know? Over the last couple of weeks, there's been a whole lot of firsts for me, you know what I mean? Like the first tornado that I've seen in my area touch down. We actually had two. I've heard of tornadoes touching down here in the mountains in this area, but I've never seen video of it before. But someone actually captured one. Then we had the hurricane come through, and that flooding event was like once in 1,000 years event. So again, that's a first. And then last night, I saw the Aurora Borealis for the first time ever. It was right here in North Carolina. The sky was just glowing in different like variances of red. It was so incredibly cool, and I'm so glad that I got to see it. There was a solar storm last night, and I stepped out at the perfect time, and Susie and I, we were able to like hug each other and watch it. It was cool. Really, really cool. A whole lot of firsts, that's for sure. We've had a lot of excitement in the last couple of weeks, and now I'm ready for all of the excitement to come to an end. I want to go back to boring. You know what I mean? I want to film these videos and like struggle to come up with something to talk about. You know, as far as like talking about the storm and whatnot, honestly, I think I'm pretty much talked out about it. I have other stories to share, and I may share them in the future. But, you know, folks, I'm just ready to put this behind me and help my neighbors clean up and just get back to, you know, life as usual, as normal, whatever you want to say. But, I would love to hear from you all. Tell me something good. Comment down below, share something good about your lives. You know, the thing is, folks, we all have it really, really good. We may experience these rough patches, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, we have it really, really good. We are blessed. That's for sure. Man, I am blessed to have this fire. It is so nice. For the last couple of adventures, I've been wanting a fire, but man, it's just too much rain. And now, finally, it's dry. It's a dry trip, and I'm glad it's dry. I still love the rain, don't get me wrong, but I'm still okay with it being dry for a while. Plus, I don't have a good place to dry out gear at the moment. When it was flooding, we had flooding all around us. So the floodwaters got up so high at my house that it ripped the deck off of the house and destroyed it. So in the past, I've always used that deck to dry off gear, but that's not possible anymore. So as soon as I get some free time, as soon as other priorities are taken care of, we'll build back the deck and I'll have a place to dry out gear. Now, speaking of which, I should mention this. I did lose quite a bit of gear in the flooding. That detached office that I spoke about in the As It Happened hurricane video, everything inside of it was destroyed. That building was destroyed. So I pretty much lost all of my big gear, all of the big items, big tents, the Nature Hike cape, double mattresses, and all the big stuff I kept out there, and all of that was lost. But it is just how it is. That's what I lost. I lost actually quite a bit more, but as far as gear goes, you know, people say, like, I'm so sorry you lost so much. I'm not. I hate that I lost it. You know, the expense and all that stuff, the value, that's bad. But when you compare that lost item or those lost items to other people losing their houses and stuff, you know, it just doesn't mean much. So, anyways, my friends, let's focus on this nice fire here. It feels good. The crackle of the flame, the howling of the coyotes. Life is good. I want you all to listen very carefully. There's a bobcat out in those woods, and he is making some awful racket. This is what a bobcat sounds like. It is time for an update, everyone. It's a little bit after 10 p.m. I'm getting tired. Inside of the 4Runner, I got the heater going. It feels good in here. Really, really good. Here in a second, I'll shut the door. As far as ventilation goes, I have all of the windows open. So I'll run that just a little bit to take the edge off. And once I get warmed up, I'll shut it down for the night. Tonight's been a lot of fun. It's been very peaceful. I really did enjoy sitting around the fire for a long time. I love hearing the coyotes, and when it comes to the bobcat, unfortunately bobcats don't make a pleasant sound. Bobcats always sound awful. It's not a pleasant sound at all. Anyways, everyone, I'm going to bed. I will see you all in the morning. Good night for now. Good early morning, everybody. It's a little bit after 6 o'clock. I have the water on. We're making coffee. No breakfast this morning. It's just too early. I don't like to wake up at 6 a.m., roll out of bed, and then eat breakfast immediately. So I think I'll make coffee, and that's good. Oh man, that smells so good. This hazelnut coffee, everyone, smells so good. Like, it is unbelievable. Anyways, last night I slept great. I turned in, I don't know, before 11. I didn't even stream a movie or anything like that. I slept great though. It was very quiet, very peaceful. I did not see the Aurora Borealis last night. I did get out and look at, like, I don't know, I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I figured I would just look out. Didn't see it. I can't believe I saw it that one time though, a few days ago. That's amazing. I guess, was that? Yeah, 2 days ago. One thing that helped me sleep so good last night was that little Covia heater. I fired it up when I got in there. I turned it to low. That took the edge off. That was really nice. I ended up falling asleep with that on, and that's perfectly fine. It was completely safe. That really is a great little heater. The sun is coming up. It'll be up here in just a little bit, and then we can officially hit the road. Right now there's a curfew in place. It's from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and that's because of the road conditions. Basically, all of the counties up here want to keep people safe. The roads are in such bad shape. There's pieces missing, there's trees in the roads. So basically they're just trying to limit accidents. So at 7 a.m. we can roll out, and we probably will. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good chilly morning. It is chilly this morning. How many times did I just say morning? Anyways, it is definitely chilly. Fall is definitely here. And I need to get ready for it. I'm so accustomed to warm temperatures, this is a shock to my system. It's been a hot summer. The hottest summer that I can remember by far. You know, we don't oftentimes have temperatures in the 90s, but man, this year, it seems like we were in the 90s all the time. And some years it's just like that, I guess. Everything goes up and down. Everything's constantly changing. That is certainly how the weather goes. Some years up here in the mountains, the temperatures won't get out of the 70s during the summer. And this year it's just been hot and humid. Hopefully next year it'll be cooler. We'll see. Today, at home, my wife and I and my son, we are moving dirt. A lot of the yard was destroyed and we have huge holes in it. So basically we're having to bring in dirt and try to fill in areas. So we're gonna do as much as we can today. I have a load coming in next week. A friend of mine, he has a landscaping business, so he can bring dirt and gravel. Then I have neighbors with tractors and so on, so I'm in good shape. The place is gonna look good soon enough. It looks better than it did. Like, I'm not kidding. It looked awful before. Like, after the storm hit, it looked like a bomb had fallen right in my yard and had gone off. It was something else. I mean, we had a waterfall feature, just surrounded by rock, water going through the yard. It was a huge mess. It is now a drastic difference compared to that, which I'm glad to say. I've received some message from viewers telling me that I should apply for FEMA assistance because they're just giving away tons of money. That is not how that works. That is not how FEMA operates. As it stands right now, I do not know anyone who has gotten assistance through FEMA with federal aid and money and so on. No one is eligible. And it doesn't matter how bad the destruction is. There's a whole bunch of criteria that has to be met to get some aid. So no, unfortunately, most people in this area are not receiving any sort of federal assistance. As far as FEMA goes, I've never actually seen them. The whole operation is really interesting. So the creeks basically at my house, the culverts were destroyed and so on. So we called up the DOT. We had a problem, a serious problem. First off, it's getting cold. Second, the creeks were rerouted over the road into my yard. Basically, a week after the hurricane came through, we contacted the DOT to see if they couldn't do something about this because the water was going over the road into my yard and it was circling back behind my house and going into my basement. The other half of the water was going into a field which was traveling down to a barn that had some animals in it. Anyway, the DOT came out within an hour. They made their assessments and they said they could not do anything about it until FEMA was in the area and they made their assessments. Ultimately, FEMA would make the call on what to do. We were told that we were free to do anything that we wanted to, but they could not touch it. Luckily, a heavy machinery crew from Kentucky was coming down the road just helping out anybody that they could, and they were able to dig out one of the culverts and divert the creek, basically from going into my yard. My yard had these gigantic berms in it, basically damming up the water and diverting it as much as possible away from my house. So they helped kind of level things out a little bit, and the rest is history. But the point is, FEMA is not the magic answer right there. They don't really do a whole lot as far as like individuals go. It's just not how it works. Oh, that feels good. You know, everyone, I love trips like this. These are so simple to do, they're a lot of fun, and this is something that anybody can do. You just pack up your vehicle, find a place to stop, and have a good time. Without a doubt, I've had a good time on this trip. One thing that's super nice is that the cleanup process is ultra simple. I don't even have to break down these tables. I could just put them in and head off. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. My friends, thank you so much for joining me on this trip. I really do appreciate it. I hope you all have had a good time just as I have had. I love Lone Wolf Mountain. I'm so glad it's safe. That could have gone any which way, you know what I mean? Lone Wolf Mountain is, I mean, you can't even tell it rained here. But again, the roads around this place are destroyed. Everything's destroyed. I'm incredibly lucky, that's for sure. Please know from this point on, I will be able to answer emails and messages again. So open the floodgates, let's go. Let's see what you have for me. I'm here to help out if I can. Thank you all so very much for joining me for this trip. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel a lot. Until next time, everyone, strength and honor. Bye for now. Let's go home and let's do some work. Cheers.